Case 1. Please identify the three most important aspects of the buyer's business for each case. So that's Case 1, Spear 1 Productions. Customer relationship, event coordinating, branding, and logos were three important aspects of this company. Um, Making sure that they have a strong relationship with the clients, just to make sure that everything goes accordingly to plan. That's really strong with their event coordinating. Because they are ultimately representing the customer that they're working for. Um, for an example, when they use Microsoft as one of their clients and they sponsor the Philadelphia Orchestra, um, they're representing Microsoft and the Philadelphia Orchestra. So whenever they're doing the event planning and event coordinating, making sure that Microsoft's logos and all the planning around it to make sure that everything is set up accordingly is all part of Spear One Productions. Um, and they're also representing the Philadelphia Orchestra to make sure that everything goes planned so that they don't have to worry about anything. They're just there to do their one job. Um, 2. You will get caught up in listening to the jargon and trying to observe body language. Discuss how that might have interfered with your ability to identify the buyer's biggest concerns. Um, when listening to the buyer scenario from Spear One Productions, um, if they seem, their communication isn't 100%, then you might become a little bit suspicious of to maybe them actually being able to um, being able to understand them. Because if the point doesn't come across clear that they're 100% customer relation based, then you might be a little thrown off just because um, that communication barrier between you and the buyer. 3. What techniques do you use to understand the buyers and if you have any problems? What techniques do you use to understand the buyers and if you have any problems? Pretty much just communication. Um, you know, just talking, figuring out what they want, what they need. It's pretty important because if you are trying to make a sale on someone that you don't, know know a lot about, then you still might have that problem with communication, with your point coming across clear. You don't want them to feel like they are not interested in anything you have to say because it has nothing to pertain to them. So, those are some techniques that I like to use, just, communicating and understanding, the business that I'm trying to sell to. Case 2 is McLean Property Real Estates. The first thing is please identify the three most important aspects of the buyer's business. So, three most important aspects is that it seems like they have a lot of data as far as their location of properties and all of their real estate, whether it's based on geodemographics, the development in certain areas, site selections. Those are three pretty important aspects of this company because, and then also with them working with smaller and local real estate agents, it seems like they have a lot of clientele, a lot of expertise as far as what they're doing. Working with the large retail chains shows that you know they're the big dogs. They know what they're talking about. They're going to help you um, find the best location possible. It seems like they're not going to be too worried about your cost as far as purchasing the real estate because dealing with these, retail chains that come in, they're willing to pay any price just as far as wherever their company is going to go. Um, you will get caught up in listening to the jargon or trying to observe body language. Discuss how that might have interfered with your ability to identify the buyer's biggest concerns. So these guys working with some big retail chains, they are probably going to be a lot more bold. They're going to come across a little intimidating. That could throw you off a little bit because um, when someone's a little bit too forward, a little bit too intimidating towards you, might make you take a step back or two, because what they're looking for is people that are going to be spending a lot of money. They're going to be looking for the best, and which you are looking for the best, but also for the right price. But when they come across as real aggressive, it's almost a little aggressive. Um, then those are some things that you might misinterpret some of the things that they're saying. So also paying attention to communication as well. What techniques do you use to understand the buyers, and if you have any problems? So again, techniques I use is just communication, um, and looking at how they are, um, how they're standing or how they're sitting. Are they slouched? Are they sitting straight up? Are they smiling a lot? Sometimes, you know, people hide a lot of information in their body language. So, making sure that they have, making sure that they're making eye contact with you. They're not looking away, looking for words to kind of say, like maybe I am right now. It plays a huge part in the selling process because, when someone asks you a question on anything, and you should have the answer should be just straightforward, looking them dead in the eyes, because you don't want to start looking around for questions or answers when they're the ones asking you. So you're supposed to be providing them with all the information possible. So um, the third thing is, what techniques do you use to understand the buyers, and if you have any problems? Um, Again, any techniques that I have is just making that good eye contact, just looking at the buyer and seeing that they are um, interested. If they're not interested, um, are they, again, you can go back to the body language and explain all that, but main technique I like to use is just understanding who you're talking to, and um, there's always a different way to approach any situation, and just understanding the person, the buyer, can make a huge difference, because you don't want to come off as too overly aggressive, and you don't want to come over as maybe too soft. So just finding that balance and all that could make you a better salesman. Case 3 is Dart Paper Products Manufacturing. Um, Seems like they make paper products, and they are very opposed to the foam, the polystyrene um, products. They like to show that their products are going to be more environmental friendly, and that the foam products are going to be less biodegradable and harder to and a lot worse for landfills. So, first thing, identify three most important aspects of the buyer's business. Um, Again, the paper products, customer relationship, are they reliable? It seems like to me that they are proud of, being environmental friendly, and that's a good thing too. Um, but again, you don't want your buyer to be feel like if they use a foam product that they are, you know, not doing enough for the environment or anything. So kind of when you're explaining to the buyer that about your product, kind of keep it to yourself, not about not about your competitors. Because when you start saying stuff about people who use like foam products when you use paper products, there are going to be advantages and disadvantages to it, and the buyers do need to understand that. But pretty much, buyers are looking for someone who's going to, for paper products, who's going to be more reliable than they are worrying about, environment. The main thing about that is, again, just being reliable. If they're going to need their products right away, that your paper products are in stock, ready to go. Um, when they call you, you answer. They don't have to go sit in a 20 to 30 minute long customer service like phone call just to get through to anyone. Um, so just being very reliable when it comes to that. It seems they are the second largest paper products maker in North America, with operations also in Europe and Asia. So thinking about that, they probably do have a customer service base that's gonna might have a little bit longer phone call wait times. So those are some key aspects as a buyer that I would give. Second one, um, you'll get caught up in listening to the jargon or trying to observe body language. Discuss how that might have interfered with your ability to identify the buyer's biggest concerns. Um, they come across very ignorant and needs a careful explanation of what you do. Um, when you're coming off as ignorant to the buyer, it's kind of going to throw them off a little bit. Make them take a few steps back on, maybe if they even want to use you as a source, because um, the when you're buying products, you want to buy it from someone who's going to be, happy, friendly, um, very reliable. Um, understand that you need that paper product, right away, or so. If they're sitting there have to explain and they're going to be ignorant, that's not going to come up very good for the buyer. So um, those those are definitely some things I would not want to do. What techniques do you use to understand the buyers, and if you have any problems? Um, Techniques that I use for the buyers is just, if they're looking for a paper product over a foam product, then yeah, I mean, it'd be a great change. If they already do foam products and they're looking for something a little bit cheaper, a lot more environmental friendly. Not only would switching to paper make it look a lot better for their company, but because then they can say they are more environmental friendly on their website, or then so those are some techniques I would look to use, but I wouldn't come across ignorant. I would just come across friendly, open, open-minded. If they, because if they want to switch, they can switch. If not, they don't. But again, choosing paper products, and choosing our paper products would be important, because um, they're sold through distributors to a variety of customers, and the client range is extensive. So those are some other things too. They have a lot of clientels and a lot of different businesses, then it could show that the reliability is there, and they're going to be pretty friendly. So my name is Adam Rincon, and this is role playing assignment 2 for personal selling.